Yo, how's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another review of the Pokemon Journey series. We're going to be covering episode 88 in today's review, and in this episode, it's Go's second trial mission for Project Mew. Also, Drake from the Elite Four and Hoenn makes a reappearance. Neat. So how was the episode overall? Well, before I get into the episode review, you guys know the drill. If you're new to the channel, you like this type of content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It'd be pretty awesome if you would do that. So the episode starts off at the Sakuragi Labs with Go receiving his mission, the second trial for Project Mew. And just like last time, he has three choices. And the option he chooses for this Project Mew trial is to catch a Kingdra. Simple enough, right? Well, it's actually not really that simple because Kingdra really aren't found in the wild because they're basically at the depths of the ocean. So yeah, not exactly easy to catch one if it's even possible to catch them at all. But then again, this is Ash and Go, where they make the impossible possible. But more on that in a little bit. But anyways, they look at Kingdra's Pokedex entry, notes that when it's sleeping, it's known to create whirlpools. So Go looks up some information on whirlpools in the various regions in the Pokemon world, and finds that there's some whirlpool activity near Slateport City in the Hoenn region. So Ash and Go head off to Hoenn. So, they arrive in the Hoenn region, and as they're trying to swim in the ocean, they're using Go's Dugong and Mantike to swim down into the ocean to find Kingdra. And yeah, they're unsuccessful. Go even tries to catch a Love Disc, and yeah, he can't throw a Pokeball in water. He completely fails. And they also get blown out of the ocean by a Wailord. So yeah, attempt number one was not successful at all. But they end up running into Drake from the Elite Four in the Hoenn region. Now, what I find funny here is that Ash and Drake recognize one another, but they don't remember their names, which I thought was pretty funny. But anyways, Drake over here, he's doing some treasure hunting of his own. And Ash and Go ask him if he's actually run into a Kingdra before in the wild. And he tells them that, yeah, I actually have. I actually got dragged under while I was doing some treasure hunting myself. And, Whirlpool dragged me further down under, and that's when I ran into a Kingdra, and that's the only time. So, not exactly an easy task, but Ash and Go are not going to give up very easily. And Go, he couldn't catch the Love Disc earlier, so he's got to find another way to catch this Kingdra. And the one thing about the Project Mew mission when it came to this one in particular is basically to think outside the box, essentially, and come up with your own strategy to catch Kingdra. Now, Drake actually agrees to help Ash and Go in their pursuit for Kingdra, but they have to help him first. And he's looking for treasure, so he wants them to help him out find some treasure. So Drake goes into the ocean, he's looking for treasure, and Ash and Go are basically giving him direction and helping him out. And what I find interesting here is that Go uses his Chinchou, and he has Ash use his Lucario to look out for treasure, or for something in the ocean. And they pretty much look all day, and it seems like they're unsuccessful in finding anything. But Lucario actually senses something towards the sunset. And Drake heads that way, and he actually finds a submarine that looks like a Kingdra. Now, the interesting thing here is that when they turn in for the day, Drake actually tells them that this Kingdra submarine is something he was actually looking for, because he found a vase on the beach one day. He got curious, he looked into it, and apparently there was an ancient civilization that worshipped Kingdra, apparently. So there was said to be treasure on this Kingdra ship, so he definitely wants to get the treasure from this ship. And this seems to be conveniently what Ash and Go are probably looking for, because if there's a Kingdra ship, chances are there's a Kingdra nearby. Now the next day comes, and Drake actually has Ash and Go head into the ocean this time. They can hold off on treasure for later, but he actually allows them to go try to get Kingdra today, or at least for right now. So Ash and Go head out, but they have some trouble getting to the ship. Turns out there's a strong current in that area. And Drake actually rationalizes that, hey, maybe it was because that current is dragging that ship around. And that's why the ship just showed up there, because it wasn't there before, and now it's there now. So it's probably the current's doing. That's why it's basically moving around and why it ended up there. Now, what I thought was funny was upon entering the ship, Go actually spots a Seadra, cries out its name. It freaks it out, so it swims out of the ship. So it gets away. But anyways, they're looking around the ship, and they end up finding a treasure chest. And in that treasure chest, they manage to find a dragon scale, which obviously a Kingdra needs to hold in order to evolve into a Kingdra. More on that in just a second. So you remember our buddy Kingdra over here? You know, the one that Go kind of freaked out when he screamed his name? Yeah, it ends up running into a Sharpedo, so it gets even more freaked out. Heads back to the Kingdra ship and hides behind Go as Sharpedo goes to attack Ash and Go. And Go being Go, pulls out a Pokeball, holds it in front of him, and Sharpedo literally runs into Go, gets caught by the Pokeball, and now Go has a Sharpedo. Yeah, so that happened. Anyway, Kingdra is actually pretty grateful to Go for doing this. So Go ends up giving Kingdra the Dragon Scale. And you would think that Kingdra would end up evolving, and then Go would catch it this way. Well, good thing is that didn't exactly happen. But as they're swimming out of the ship, they notice that there's a current even further down. And it's thanks to Kingdra over here who's basically showing them the way. And it's pretty obvious to Go that there's something down here, and he thinks that it's a Kingdra, because Kingdra, when they sleep, according to the Pokedex entry from the beginning of the episode, it's known to create whirlwinds, or when it's fighting a Dragonite. So Go decides to do some investigating, but they can't exactly go down there, because that's their limit with their swimsuits, or their scuba diving gear, whatever you want to call it. But Drake did provide them with an extra tank of oxygen, but it only lasts 10 minutes. So Go decides to do some investigating on his own, and heads in there solo. So Go ends up heading into the cave, and of course, he runs into a Kingdra. And he's struggling quite a bit, and he doesn't know exactly what to do, because he can't just throw a Pokeball. As we learned earlier in the episode, trying that on Love Disc didn't work, so what is Go gonna do? But turns out our boy Ash actually came down to help out Go as well. He's providing him some support with Dracovish. So Go takes out his Inteleon and his Mantrike and basically does a double battle against Kingdra. So how does Go capture Kingdra here? Well, he has his Mantrike use Ice Beam to basically trap Kingdra, then has Inteleon use Aqua Break to weaken Kingdra, and then he throws his Pokeball and has Inteleon use Snipe Shot on the Pokeball, shoots it right at Kingdra, who is promptly captured. Nice going, Go. So as they're leaving the cave, Go is almost out of oxygen, so he uses his newly caught Kingdra, and him and Ash are just out of there, because if they're down there any longer, Go's done for. So they end up getting out of there, but they manage to catch Kingdra over here, who's hanging out in the Kingdra ship, which is actually being blown away by the current now. But he's pretty content. He's got his Dragon Scale, so he's probably going to be a Kingdra someday. And they end up escaping. And Go passes his second trial for Project Mew, getting another token. And while that's going on, Asahi and Tsurugi are actually confronting Regirock here as the episode comes to an end. So overall, I thought this was a solid episode. This is easily the best Project Mew episode to date, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This episode actually went above my expectations. I was already excited for this episode, knowing that Drake was going to be involved in some way, shape, or form. But even though Drake was here and he definitely was a plus in the episode, not just for nostalgia, I think they actually did a pretty good job with his character in the episode. Even though him and Ash's reunion was kind of I still enjoyed it, but the MVP here is definitely Go. Go was treated very well in today's episode. And this is how I want Go to be handled all the time in Journeys. This episode is a solid example of how Go should be handled in the Pokemon Journeys series. Because I have to say, I loved how Go utilized his Pokemon in today's episode. Because this is exactly what I like from Go. He's done this in the past, but how he used it in today's episode was just brilliant in my opinion. He's kind of like Ash, where how Ash comes up with strategies on the fly during his Pokemon battles. Seems like Go over here has inherited a little bit of this tendency from Ash, but he's been utilizing it during their various trips and also as part of Project Mew. Very prevalent in today's episode, where he came up with stuff on the fly during the mission, which I thought was pretty cool. Like he using Chinchu to basically hone in to the ship, or to the treasure I should say at the time when they were looking for treasure, and also combining that with Ash's Lucario's aura. And they were successfully able to locate the Kingdra ship. That was pretty cool. And then the strategy to capture Kingdra was awesome, with Inteleon using Snipe Shot on the Pokeball and just shooting it and launching it right towards Kingdra and capturing it. That was pretty awesome. Not only that, it also shows that he's not just capturing his Pokemon and just forgetting about them. He's learning about his Pokemon and learning their different attributes and skills. And he's bringing them alongside him for some of these trips. Now, I will say it is disappointing that some of his Pokemon do seem to disappear and not get any type of shine. And that's definitely something that I would like to see change in the Journey series moving forward, since his team is just ever growing. And some of his Pokemon do inevitably get forgotten, unfortunately. But if his Pokemon are going to be utilized like this in future Project Mew episodes, I'm all for it. Give me more episodes like this, because this was great. Now, the only complaint I do have for today's episode is how Go captured Sharpedo. That felt forced in my opinion, and even though him and Seadra became best buds after that and Go gave him a Dragon Scale, which I thought it was good that Seadra didn't evolve over here because of that Dragon Scale, it kind of seemed like it was there just to kind of trick us into thinking that that would be the case. I still think that Go shouldn't have caught Sharpedo like this. Like I said, it felt kind of forced. I feel like this could have been executed better. But besides that, the rest of the episode is fantastic. So this one issue I do have with the episode isn't going to bring the score of this episode down significantly. Alrighty guys, that's all I got for today's episode review. So overall, a fantastic episode, a very solid episode. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So in the comment section down below, let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Post your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And guys, I will see you later. Have a good day or night wherever you're at, and peace.